Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. How are you?
Good evening, ma'am.
Fine, fine, ma'am.
Hi. Let's wait for others to join. Okay. Today we will complete nationalism of India, and next then we will start a new chapter. We'll start a chapter in geography. Okay. And also I will send you the notes, and also I will give you the question and answers. So I will want you all guys for homework. It is that you have to read the chapter, of course, and then go through the notes and study the question and answers. And one day we'll do a quick revision before starting the new chapter in geography in next class. Okay, we'll wait for 2-3 minutes more and then we will start. We will wait for 1 minute more and then we will begin. Only people have not joined. I don't know why guys have not joined yet. Okay, everyone. Good evening, everyone. We will start our class now. We are past 1 minute. Okay. How are you all? Say, give
Fine,
me a
ma'am.
the chat box. Okay, Abhinav. How are you?
Fine, ma'am.
Okay,
Everything
good.
good here.
Fine. We are going to let's begin our class now. And just let me connect my charger. Yeah. Okay. So we were doing nationalism in India, and we had done the Satyagraha, the Salt March, or you can say the Dandi March. Gandhiji, with his trusted followers, he reached Sabarmati. Just let me share my screen. Okay, you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we are done here, done till here. Okay, so we had done the Dandi March, or you can say the Sabarmati, the Salt March, and Gandhiji started this quick revision. He started his Salt March in 12th of March in 1930, accompanied by 78 of his trusted volunteers. He started from Sabarmati Ashram in Gujarat, and the destination was Dandi, and where there he reached and he made salt, and this by this he broke the salt law. Okay, so now this was the beginning of the civil disobedience movement. Okay, so what was the difference between the non-cooperation movement and the civil disobedience movement? The non-cooperation movement, it was that the Indians will not cooperate with the British government. But in the civil disobedience, we had not to cooperate. Also, we had to break the colonial laws, break the British laws. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So now, by when Gandhiji made salt, he started the civil disobedience movement, and now after this, thousands in different parts of the country, everybody broke the salt law. Okay, again the protest started. It was the same way, kind of the same way. Foreign cloth was boycotted. Liquor shops were picketed once again. The entrance of the shop was blocked. It was not picketed. Does not mean that it was looted or something. Okay, now peasants refused to pay the revenue tax, and in the forest, people violated the forest law. There was a law that people could not take their cattle into the forest, or they could not collect firewoods. So people broke those laws. Okay. So next, what happened? Of course, the British were harsh people. They were very cunning and cruel. So the government began arresting the Congress leaders one by one, and then because of this, there was violent clashes. Okay, the nationalists, or you can say the protesters, or were beaten up, and Abdul Ghaffar was arrested and put into jail. Also, Mahatma Gandhi was arrested. And now about 1 lakh people were arrested, and Gandhiji began feeling whenever he sees violence, he begins to feel unrest. Okay, so that is why he called off the civil disobedience movement. Fine. Okay, now calling off the civil disobedience movement, now Gandhi and Arvind, they went into a pact. That was on 5th of March 1931, the very popular Gandhi Arvind pact. In this pact, Arvind invited Gandhiji to attend the second round table conference. It was the second round table conference, and in return, Gandhiji demanded the release of the political leaders like Abdul Ghaffar and Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, Arvind agreed. Okay, so what happened? Now Gandhiji prepared to go to the London. He went to London, okay, but what happened there? Nothing happened. Fine. He was kind of neglected over there, and he returned very disappointed from London. So when he came back, he got to know that Ghaffar Khan and Jawaharlal Nehru both were still in jail, okay, and also the party, the Congress party, was declared illegal, okay. Now this, by this, of course, Gandhiji felt betrayed, yeah. And what happened? He relaunched the civil disobedience movement. But where is my pen? Yeah, he relaunched the civil disobedience movement. Okay, but so Gandhiji lost his civil disobedience, but it lost its momentum by 1934. Why? Because see, there was a gap when he went to London and when he returned from London. Okay, in this time, the main leaders Abdul Ghaffar Khan and Jawaharlal Nehru were in jail. Gandhiji was in London. There was nobody to guide the people, and so it lost its momentum. Okay, so let us see what was the participants, how the participants saw the movement. First of all, we'll talk about the rich peasants. That is the patidars, or you can say the jats of North, jats of UP, the patidars of Gujarat, or you can say the talukedars of Awadh. Okay, so they were the producers of the commercial crops. Okay, and they were hardly hit by the economic depression. Okay, and other than that, due to the depression, the prices of agriculture goods had fallen and their incomes were decreased. Okay, their government had imposed, like I told you, during the World War, the government had imposed heavy income taxes, and they were not able to pay the government's revenue. Okay, they participated a lot in the civil disobedience movement, and what was their demand? They wanted the reduce in the high revenue, okay, and they were deeply disappointed when the civil disobedience movement was called off without the revenue rate being revised, okay. And so when Gandhiji relaunched in 1932 the civil disobedience movement, they refused to participate. Okay, now this was about the rich peasants. But just give me an idea, okay? In case you were a rich peasant, okay, what would you have done? Would you have what do you think about all the situation, about Gandhiji calling off the civil disobedience movement?
I would go along with the movement.
Do you think he should have continued the movement?
If he
This
should
is an
have, ma'am.
opinion. This is just an opinion. Okay. See,
Yes, ma'am.
everything was going so good. If the entire country had followed him, and he was very right to say, he was very right when he started the salt march. Why? Because everybody was related to salt. The rich, the poor, the industrial, also the farmers. Everybody ate salt, and the British had, it was our salt, our country's salt, our salt, the Indian salt, but the British had used to make the salt.
Control of it.
We were to pay tax on the salt. So everybody got to understand the importance of salt. Okay, now when the salt march was there, because it was a march, about 24 days, I think, the march was there, and every day Gandhiji gave speeches, I think, on his way, and that was for 24 days at a stretch. He gave speeches, and of course he preached his non-violent, how the everything should go on. He tried to train the people, and people were very enthusiastic. The women participated. It was overcrowded. People were kind of hanging on the branches of the trees to listen to him, right? and everything was going on good, but it was only because of the violence that he called off the march. And the second thing, the British, how the British, do you see how the British tricked him? You come to the round table conference, go to London, and there we will talk to you, right? So they diverted his route to London, and here they imprisoned the main leaders, that was Abdul Ghaffar and Jawaharlal Nehru. He imprisoned, and the people who were following the leaders were left with, you say, the chaos. They were, oh, huh, what to do now? What do you say? This is my opinion. He shouldn't have called off the civil disobedience movement at that time. What do you say?
Yes, ma'am. He should have
He
continued
could have
it
been.
and aim for wider parts of India.
Yeah, he should have seen the cunningness and the how the British were playing with him. He should have seen how the British were playing with him, and he shouldn't have. If he wouldn't have called off, the rich peasants would have continued uh, their support in this civil disobedience movement. Right? Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
We can have a debate on this any time. Okay. So, this was about the rich peasant. Okay. Now next about the poor peasants. Okay. Now the poor peasants were, of course, landless people. They were working for the landlords, or you can say the patidas, or you can say the jats. Okay. So in return, they have to pay heavy rent, because also the landlords had to pay the British government. So the poor peasants had to pay the landlords. So as depression continued, small peasants found it difficult to pay their revenues. Yeah. Okay. Now they were demanding that the landlords cancel their unpaid rent. Okay. They should say let go of the rent that they were not able to pay. But the Congress did not support this. Why? Because the landlords were supporting the movement. They were paying for it, right? So how can they go against them? So the Congress did not support the poor peasants over here, and no rent campaign, as this right upsets the landlords. Okay, now so the movement had lost its momentum for them also, because their demand was also not being fulfilled. Yeah. Next comes the business class. Okay, now you see the British were doing business here. They had come to India with the intention of taking the resources of our country. They had come here with the intention of business, of making economic gains. So of course they were, what they did, they tried to weaken our business class. Okay, now the British government had such policies that restricted British activities, so they wanted to remove policies that restricted business activities. No, the Indian cannot do this. Indian has to pay this much tax. The Britisher will pay this much tax. Okay, so the industrialists of our country could not compete with the Britishers. Okay, now this was one policy, that was they had restricted business policies. Second was the import of foreign goods. Now the Britishers had good technology. They had machinery to produce cloth. Okay, and they were using our raw material, our cotton, and they were producing cloth over there. And they took it back and they sold it back to us, right? And our own cloth, that was the khadi, that was made by hand. Of course, anything made by hand is going to be expensive, right? So that price could not beat the foreign goods price. So they wanted protection against the against the import of foreign goods. So if there would be no import, okay, then only our people would be forced to buy our cloth. Now I don't know if you all know, but after independence, for many years, I don't know how many years, for many years, import was banned. No imported goods entered India. Just this rule was there just to promote the local businessmen. Okay, like I hope you all remember, in olden days we had only Ambassador the car, and we had a Fiat, right? The same design, same white color, yeah. everybody owed. There were no choices. And also that also, if you would have booked, there was a booking system, you would book a car and that car would arrive to you. You'd get a lottery system, and I don't know what. You would get that car, I think about 4 to 6 months it used to take. Now you can just go, okay, go and you can come back with a car within an hour or two. So this was the condition of our country, the condition of the business class, you can say, during the British times. So they had messed up you can say, a business class. There were the business
Economy.
class also. You want to say something?
They messed up our economy, basically.
Yeah,
The whole economy.
they messed up economy, or our businessmen tried a lot, okay, and they also made two federations, okay, that is the Indian Industrial and the Commercial Congress. They also made FICCI. This organization is still active. It is still working in India. And they also, this was led by, you must have heard of them, Purushottam Das Thakur, and the another person is G.D. Birla. Okay. Now what happened? They refused to buy and sell imported goods. What was it? They did this, like the business class did this. They refused to buy and sell imported goods, and also they gave financial support to the civil disobedience movement. But nothing as such happened. Okay, they did not get any policies made in favor of them, and still the foreign goods kept coming. Okay, and because people were kind of poor, people were forced to buy the foreign goods. Why? Because the khadi was quite expensive for them, right? So the business class did not were not happy with the civil disobedience movement when Gandhiji relaunched the civil disobedience movement. Now we'll talk about the industrial class workers. Okay, they kind of did not participate in the civil disobedience movement large, only except the Nagpur region. Okay, now those who participated, they adopted the Gandhian program, and like boycotting of foreign goods also. They wore the Gandhian cap also, and their movement was against low wages and poor working conditions. But what you see, the industrial workers, the owners of the industries, were the ones who were supporting the Congress. They were the ones who were financing the civil disobedience movement. Of course, now you cannot go against the person who is financing your movement, right? So the Congress did not support the workers. Okay, just like the peasants, the Congress did not support the peasants. Also, the Congress did not support the workers because the industrialists did not like it. So this was the reason the civil disobedience movement lost its momentum. Thus, when it was relaunched the second time. Okay, now let's talk of the participation of women. During the women had actively participated in most of the movement. Okay, now during the Dandi March, thousands of women came out of their home and they listened to Gandhi. Okay, lots of women had participated in the protest of March. Lots of women had participated in the salt manufacturing also, and many of them were also sent to jails. Okay. Now, what are the limits? Let's talk about the limits. Till now, everybody understand? Give me a message. All of you understand? If you want anything
Yes,
to
ma'am.
revise, we'll revise. Okay.
Understood.
Okay, let's begin. Now, the limits of the civil disobedience movement was that not all social groups did not participate. Okay, now that we'll talk about here, Muslims and Dalits. Muslims and Dalits does not mean all Muslims. Abdul Ghaffar Khan was a Muslim. Okay, B.R. Ambedkar, who was a major part of the civil disobedience movement, was a Dalit. So this was Dalit on a whole, like the entire community. Okay, and also Muslims in the entire community. They thought, let us talk about the Dalits first. Okay, now the Congress had ignored Dalits because of the fear of offending the high Hindu class, that is the Sanatanis. Okay, there was in those times, if in India there was a big gap between the higher caste and the lower caste. Okay, and but Gandhiji supported the Dalits. He also he was the one who named them Harijan. Okay, and that is the meaning of the children of God. Now he believed Swaraj would not come if untouchability was not eliminated. And what B.R. Ambedkar did was he demanded a separate electorate for the Dalits. Okay, and when he put forward this, the British accepted. Okay, and Gandhiji opposed this. Why there should be an separate electorate? They should not be a separate electorate, and because of this, he also went into fast unto death. Okay, so of course, B.R. Ambedkar, he respected Gandhiji so much, and they sat down and. Yeah, Gandhiji began a fast unto death, and B.R. Ambedkar agreed to his terms, and the Pune Pact was signed between B.R. Ambedkar. This is important. The Pune Pact between B.R. Ambedkar and the Mahatma Gandhi. This is the pact that today also is going on, and we have reservations for the SC, SC, and ST, SC, and OBC. So it gave depressed class reserved seats in provisional central legislative council, but they were to vote by general electorate. Okay, no separate electorate. Okay, so B.R. Ambedkar had agreed to it. A small note can come on Pune Pact, so you have to remember this. Okay, let's talk about the Muslim community. The same like B.R. Ambedkar had done, even there was a tension, of course, between the Hindus and the Muslims. The Hindus were mainly were the organization of Hindu Mahasabha and the Muslim League. So they clashed between each other on religious grounds, and also on their possession, and that their religious possession, they would clash together. Okay. So although they were together in the Khilafat in the starting the Swadeshi movement, the Khilafat movement were together, but there were tension between. And in 1927, Congress and Muslim League, they wanted to form an alliance. Okay, but what was the there was a problem with Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He demanded the same thing like B.R. Ambedkar had done. We also want a separate electorate. Okay, the Congress did not agree. He said, okay, if you do not agree to this, at least give us a reserved seats in the Central Assembly. There should be representation of proportion in the Muslim dominated provinces, that is Bengal and Punjab. That time Bangladesh was not there and Pakistan was not there. That they were all a part of India. Okay, so he demanded this also. Congress did not agree because it was under the power of the Sanatanis, and they did not agree to this. Okay, uh, so we will end this topic till there. We know, yeah. Okay, so because of this, I will not tell. I'll not go in detail about this. Because of this, that played a lot of problem that carried on until independence. Okay, till now, anybody has any doubt? Then we will move forward.
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. So let us move forward. Okay, now the nationalism that we are talking about, we know the nationalism was the sense of collective belonging. Okay, it was a united struggle, and everybody wanted independence from the colonial government, the British. They wanted their heads off from the Britishers. Okay. Now for this, the people started relating their culture. Further, what the Britishers had spread to them, you are the people who are of low intelligence. They could say you have no culture. We have We are here to teach you. Okay, you should do this, you should do that, you should we are here to guide you, we are here to support you, and you people are not good for since ancestors you are not good. Okay, this is what they put in the minds of the people of India. But when the leaders came in, the folk story started, folk song started, and the people's regional languages spread. Then we got to understand and glorify our culture. Like we told, we studied in the nationalism in Europe. Okay, they had uh, they had allegories. Okay, the Germany had Germina, and French had Mary. Okay, in the same pattern in 20th century, Buckingham Chandra Chattopadhyay, he created the first image of Bharat Mata. Okay, and also wrote the Vande Mataram. Okay, so this was Anand Mart that was there, and the Swadeshi movement also posters were made, and these allegories were started. Afterwards, Abindranath Tagore, he made a famous painting of the painting of Bharat Mata. Abindranath Tagore painted his famous image of Bharat Mata, and she is how she's shown. She's shown to be calm, composed, divine, and spiritual. Okay, so like you see in this picture, she is kind of she has four hands, and each hand has a meaning. Okay, and what happens next? Okay, now we also designed the flag. Okay, now due to the flag, also the sense of collective belongingness awakens among the people. The first flag was the tricolor. The tricolor, that was green, yellow, and red, was designed with 8 lotuses representing 8 provinces of British India. Next, when Gandhiji designed the flag, okay, a tricolor that was red, green, and white, and had a spinning wheel in the center, which represents self-help. You can say also Swadeshi. Okay, the interpretation of history. When, like I told you, when people realize that their history in ancient time was very tremendous or developed in every field. We had great art. Okay, like that was seen in temples. We had great agriculture. India was very rich in agriculture, and we had all tools and resources, and of course the population was there, and everybody was fed well. We were very India was very rich in culture and religion. Okay, many religions were started in India. Okay, and it was this very very rich in culture and heritage. Ever since the British came to India, our culture has declined. People got to know this, and we were all very happy, we are all very rich, we are all doing very well off, we were all fed, nobody died hungry. But what things changed when the British came. Okay, now these you can say these whites, when they came in, now people began to starve, people began to be crammed down. Okay, so if we want progress to like we had before, then we have to get freedom from Britishers. This was kind of engraved in everybody's mind and head. Yeah, in every Indian, that we have to get rid of the Britishers. Okay, so that is the end of the chapter. We'll take up question and answers now. Okay. Okay. Anybody has any doubt? Then we'll begin with the question and answers. All of you all understood the chapter? It was long. Yes. but I did not go very fast because I wanted you all to go with the flow, understand the chapter first. Now we'll go, you can go through the notes, you will be able to understand. You don't have, whenever you write an answer, if it is a long answer, you don't have to follow word to word, you don't have to mug up word to word, you just have to understand the concept, right?
It's fine. I understood. I don't know about the rest.
Nobody's giving a message, nobody's giving a sign, no anything. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to understand
I
this?
understood.
You understood? Okay, Abhinav, good.
I don't know
Daria,
about
are you there? Aryan,
Yes, ma'am. Understood, ma'am.
C3?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. I
Good, good.
understood.
Okay. So the first question in your question and answers is why the growth of nationalism in the colonies is linked by anti-colonial movement. Okay. Like I told you, everybody, people began to discovering their unity in the process of their struggle with colonialism. Okay. The sense of being oppressed under colonialism provided a shared bond. Even the people in Punjab felt the same like the people felt in Bihar. The same oppression was there in Assam. The same oppression was there in Gujarat or also in south of India. You can say the same thing was there. So everybody was united by this, right? But each class and group felt the effect of colonialism differently. Okay, there were different stories. Their experiences were varied, and their notions of freedom were not always the same. The Congress under Mahatma Gandhi tried to forge these groups together within one movement, but unity did not emerge without conflict. Like I told you, what we wanted, the civil disobedience movement was not a great success, and like there because of this conflict. Now, next question was how the First World War helped the growth of national movement in India. Okay, now the war created a new political and economical situation. The war led to a huge increase in defense expenditure, which was financed by war loans and increasing in taxes. Custom duties were increased and income taxes were introduced. What everybody was in a chaos, although we had nothing to do with the war. Now, forced recruitment in villages caused widespread anger. Crops failed, and this resulted in acute shortage of food. And also, there was an epidemic that was I think, influenza. 12 to 13 million people died because of famine and the epidemic. Okay. Now, why were the Indians outraged by the Rowlatt Act? Rowlatt Act is important. You have to learn this. Okay, never skip. Do not skip this. Rowlatt Act was introduced in 1919, and it was hurriedly passed by the Imperial Legislative Council, which was in London, and there was no Indian representative over there. Okay, so it was completely opposed by Indian members. There was no Indian legislative. There were Indian members in India, but this was passed in London. Okay, now it had, why was it had outraged? Because it had given the government enormous power to repress political activities. Okay, anybody could be. It allowed the detention of political prisoners without trial for 2 years. Anybody could have jailed in for 2 years without any reason, without a trial. Okay, so because in response to this, the Rowlatt Hartal was started. Why Gandhiji decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement? Okay, now this is the main thing. In February 1922, this is not the civil disobedience. This is the non-cooperation. So this chapter is divided into two movements, main movement. That was the non-cooperation movement. Second is the civil disobedience movement. Okay. Now in February 1922, Mahatma Gandhi decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement. He felt the movement was turning violent, okay, because especially because of the Chauri Chara incident. In many places, and satyagrahis needed to be properly trained before they would be ready for mass tragedies, mass struggles, you can say. What is meant by the idea of satyagraha? Okay, now India, when Gandhiji came to India, he brought with him the idea of Satyagraha. The idea of Satyagraha, it is important for you all to study this. Okay. I'll give a brief. The idea of Satyagraha emphasized the power of truth and the need to search for truth. It suggested that if the cause was true and if the struggle was against injustice, the physical force was not necessary to fight the oppressor. Without seeking vengeance or being aggressive, a satyagrahi could win the battle through non-violence. Okay, this was satyagraha. This could be done by appealing to the conscience of the oppressor. People, including the oppressors, had to be persuaded to see the truth instead of being forced to accept the truth through the use of violence. Through this struggle, the truth was bound to triumph ultimately. Mahatma Gandhi believed that this dharma of non-violence could unite all Indians. Okay. Write a newspaper report on Jallianwala Bagh massacre. This is important. Yes, do this. The Simon Commission. Okay, and when we come to the last part of the chapter, we have to talk about the allegories of how allegories of India, that is the Bharat Mata, related to Germania, okay, the symbol of Germany, and that of Italy, Marianne. Okay, let us all discuss the social groups that joined the non-cooperation movement. Okay. Here we talk about the non-cooperation movement in detail. Then we have discussed the salt march here. Okay, we will discuss the salt march. And imagine that you are a woman participating in the civil disobedience movement. Explain what the experience meant to your life. Why did political leaders differ sharply over the question of separate electorate? This is about, in the first part, you have to talk about the Dalit. Okay. And in the second, you have talked about the Muslim, like I just explained. Okay. I have a little MCQs also. This I will send it to you, and you can do it in homework. Okay.
Ma'am, will you send the whole thing?
Yeah, I will send it to you. You want it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I will send you this question and answer also. I will also send you notes, right? So if this will be, I have explained, done the explanation. If you have time, you can go through the video again, see the explanation. And then when you do go through the notes, you will be able to learn the notes. The notes are most important. The question answers, they might not come the same. The questions may be twisted, maybe reframed. But if you study the notes, you will know how to answer it. Okay. So we have a class again. Okay, after an hour.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think 7:10, right? Please be
Yes,
there. Okay. Okay. Bye.
ma'am.
Ma'am, is it on 7th or
7:10, yeah. I think it is 7:10. Yes.
when
Let me
is the
just.
math?
This is the English class is going to be there. Just a minute. 7:10. It will begin.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
See you again.